welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so viewer comment. This one's from Anthony Shillingford. He writes, Austin is bored with Rolex. If only there were other companies who made watches. Imagine if those companies even had more prestige than Rolex or included more complications than a date and the time. Oh well, I guess the options are set. Seiko 5 or Rolex. Times are hard indeed. I think I sense a bit of sarcasm in this post. All right, well, just to clarify, am I bored with Rolex? No, I just need to step away, and in that way I can kind of appreciate it more. But I see what he's saying. I mean, I'm pretty Rolex-centric, and sometimes I talk about the Seiko 5, but yeah, I can see why he might be saying branch out. There are other things. Now, it's kind of ironic because right before I checked this comment, I was on the train, and I was sitting on the train thinking about GMTs. I mean, what else do you do when you're sitting on a train? You think of GMTs, you think of Pepsis and Cokes and whatnot, and about my plight. You know, I don't think a new GMT is going to happen. I don't really think I want it to happen. And so that leaves me with the vintage market. And I was contemplating, as I always do, the price rises and the fact that these past couple years I've seen an increase that would have me paying about 10 grand for what I paid a lot less for a couple years ago. And there I was sitting on the train thinking about how much my life sucks because of that. I'm just kidding. But I looked over and I think I saw an Omega or something on somebody's wrist, and I thought, is that the way to go? I mean, branch out. Other watches. Oris? Breitling? I mean, Breguet. Okay, it crossed my mind. And I thought maybe that is the way to go. I mean, there are more watches than Rolex out there, right? And so it's kind of ironic. I got to work and I actually saw this comment, and I thought I've got to make a video about this. Okay, so I have sort of tried to check out other watches and other GMTs. I mean, you guys know that one of my favorite complications, aside from waterproofness, I don't know if you can call that a complication, requirement I say, is GMT function. And I checked out what Omega had on offer and Breitling, and no, I didn't check out Breitling because I'm not really into Breitling. I don't know why. Breguet, and I found some decent pieces. I found some moderately priced pieces available, pre-owned, around 5 grand. Really kind of cool pieces. But it's kind of strange because as I was looking at Rakuten, and I was on the Rakuten site looking at all these watches, after a while, I got tired of looking at them. I mean, I was already starting to get tired of the aesthetic, just looking at pictures of them. And I realized that I really am a Rolex guy. I mean, it's what I like. And I think I made a video, what is it? Desire is not a choice, is that what it was? Attraction is not a choice, that's right. Attraction is not a choice. And look, I would love to sort of flip a switch and be just as attracted and appreciative of an Omega GMT. I mean, they're beautiful watches, fantastic watches. I mean, there are a lot of cool options out there. You can get a GMT date chronograph, waterproof, everything. You can pretty much get everything. I mean, it's like a Tudor Iconaut, but it's Omega, and that's cool. And I do like those watches, but they don't just do it for me like the aesthetic of Rolex. You know, the sub and the GMT, and especially the GMT. I don't know what it is about the GMT. Maybe I'm not the only one, but there's something about the pre-ceramic GMT. When I see it, I have like a primal reaction of like, I don't know what it is. Well, not lust and not love, but sort of this intense appreciation of the beauty and the aesthetics of it. I mean, I've seen GMTs on wrists in grocery stores. I followed the guy around. I followed him around looking at his watch. I was actually thinking maybe I should try to talk to him and maybe get a little footage of his watch, but I ended up not. But I did follow him around a little bit. So there's sort of an unexplainable attraction to that Rolex aesthetic. Okay, that it's not there with other watches. And why do I like this watch? Well, am I a Seiko guy? I would say not really. I mean, I appreciate Seiko, especially living in Japan. But I got this watch because it was $50, $40. I guess it's increasing a little bit as I make these videos. It was $40, and that's what I paid for it. And it was cheap. It gave me something to play with, something to look at, something to appreciate, something to make videos about. And I really do like the watch, but I wouldn't have bought it new, and I wouldn't spend thousands on a Seiko. The spring drives are kind of interesting. Hell, the Grand Seiko quartz. I mean, if you're going to get a quartz, Grand Seiko is the quartz to have. It's actually a beautiful quartz movement and super accurate, and it's sort of, there's a historical component to quartz and Seiko. So I understand it. And then the high beam mechanicals, I mean, they're really cool as well. But when it comes down to it, it just comes down to money and thinking they're really nice watches, but they're not that nice. There is a lot of emotion involved in buying a watch, and it's interesting how I can look at a perfectly awesome watch, I mean a fantastic watch, that's $2 grand, $3 grand, and think, no, not gonna do it, don't want to do it, no interest. Yet I look at a $10,000 old watch that could be beat up, and I'm like, yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, it makes no sense. And if you're not a Rolex person and you don't like GMTs, it could be lunacy. And for a non-watch person, it defies logic, and I realize that. But to quote Woody Allen, as we do, the heart wants what the heart wants. And if the heart wants Rolex Steel Sports models, then that's what they want. That's what it wants, even though there are a lot of other good options out there, and I realize that. And hey, you know, I mean, if I was minted, absolutely minted, yeah, I mean, I'd throw some money Omega's way or Brigade's way. Why not? All right, but I'm living the luxury watch lifestyle on just a regular guy's budget, so I got to be picky and discriminating about what I spend it on, and I have to choose pieces that stir my passions, and it just happens to be Rolex. But hey, Anthony, I hear you. There are awesome watches out there, and if they float your boat, go for it. You guys know what floats my boat. Seiko 5? No, well, Rolex, and cheap Seiko 5s to mess around with. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.